Happy
What
to
you doing
have you.
live, man? It's all good. What's up, everybody? This is Jay Wicker with Small Business Stand Up. And of course, you got the co host here, Miss Danielle. What's up, Miss Danielle?
Hey, hey, what's going on, Jay?
Nothing much,
Great
nothing
day.
much. We got Johnny Leverage on here too, and a couple more people gonna pop on in a second. Excuse me. We're gonna do what we do here. You know how we do. We are business owners, man. What's up, world? Also, hey, we got a great entrepreneur here. Where are you located at, man? I just Canada, right?
Yes, in Toronto.
Toronto, Canada. Mister, I had all your stuff laid out here, man. So let me pull it up. I'm gonna stop acting like I'm new to
Look, I
this.
was gonna say something like you have a really calm demeanor.
He definitely does.
I was trying to
Excuse
figure
me,
out
man.
like where is he from? Like,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
kind of
So
giving me up north vibes, but you're a little more up north.
you a little further up north. But we got Mr. Denmark Britain from Toronto, Canada. So he's a founder of Rebrand Advertising, right?
Right.
He's entrepreneurs, man. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. I'm very glad to be here.
Excellent, man. So listen, I seen you online, right? And I said I gotta reach out to this young guy here. And you like you a young guy, man. Like you about 18, 19, man. What they feeding you up there, man?
Oh, sugar snaps,
You're,
baby.
you're very close. I'm actually 22.
It's 22. Okay. Well, hey, that's even better, man. I mean, you about your business early in the game,
Absolutely.
right? Absolutely.
You
So
broke
tell
out
us
of the
about
matrix earlier.
yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you do, man. How you got into it and all that good stuff, man.
Awesome. Perfect. So to dive right in, I actually decided to get into marketing mainly because of where I saw COVID brought the economy, and I know that's going to be something that's going to require for many businesses to bounce back is utilizing the internet to further get their name out there to attract more people who wasn't aware of them before COVID hit. And so I realized that was a great opportunity for myself to go in, learn a business model, and further just provide value for the people who I know are going to need it most. And I think it was a very smart decision. It's paying off. And
Okay. So did you go to school for this, or this is something that you
no,
just kind of naturally
purely
had?
based off experience. It's a trial and fail. It's like a trial and fail thing. I've never been to university. I kind of have my own opinion on that.
It's overrated.
Just keep it real.
It's overrated.
And it was I've invested into coaches. I think that's very important. I think a lot of people find them skeptical, but if you're going to spend the money anyways to go to university or college, instead of paying 30 to 50, you could pay like 5, and this person's going to almost give you that one-on-one experience.
Man, he sound like a brilliant guy, man. He 22. You realize that at 22? Yeah, you winning, bro.
I
You
have hope
winning.
for the next generation now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how long have you technically been doing what you're doing now?
About 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I got it right when I saw what happened, and then I took the time to really learn the model, and I went through a lot of failures, and that allowed me to, learn very fast because not only was I able to learn from other people's experience and failures, I was able to learn from my own, and so I was able to adapt very quickly and utilize everything I've learned to my advantage, and that really, really paid off.
So advertising, man. I mean, I guess a lot of people do get into it, man, but not a lot of people understand advertising.
Right.
What is? I know this is probably kind of left field though. What is your definition of advertising though?
Well, my definition of advertising really comes down to branding yourself online because many people think of marketing as just you run a couple ads and you get some people through the door, but really there's a huge foundation behind that, and especially if you want to do well by your clients. So I typically like to build out an entire system, and I personally believe that you as an entrepreneur, you are your business. So we try to focus more on the entrepreneur than we do focus on their business. So we try to build a brand around the entrepreneur because what many people have a misconception about is they're selling a product when like in reality when you're selling a product or service, you're really selling the person, right? Because there's 1,000 people out there that are doing the same thing. So why would anyone want to choose you versus the guy next door? So we really have to double down on that and ensure that, hey, listen, you are more important than whatever it is you're selling.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's some of the questions we're gonna be talking about today as well. You're right,
Absolutely.
man. You're absolutely right. So you hit the nail on the head. You
yeah.
got any questions for him, Miss Danielle?
No, because I love that you brought that up because that's something as a business and entrepreneurship coach, that is something that I tell people all the time where, the reality, we live in America, we live in the world now. It's a global economy. Everybody's on the internet. Why would somebody want to buy something from you? It's because it's you. They, they want to find somebody. They find something in you that they like and it resonates with them. And that's why they choose you. And investing in that and building that up and basically, for lack of a better word, putting respect on your own name and your own image can take it to the next level, and it creates so many layers of your business that you probably didn't even think you could do. Exactly. And it just expands it and stabilizes it and sets it up to grow. So, dude, shout out to this. I like this guy, man. He's smart. I like naturally smart people that figure things out and don't have to go to school to justify or validate themselves.
For many of the business owners that are coming out now, it's more important for them to focus on a personal brand, because now if you look at any of the YouTubers, they could sell anything. And it's like, just imagine or picture you already have 1,000 people ready to buy whatever you're selling. And that's exactly the goal, no matter what industry you're in. And so developing a personal brand right now, there's no better time to start. And if there's any advice I could get everyone watching is don't be afraid to be criticized, to put yourself out there, because you're the only one that's going to suffer if you don't.
It's interesting that you said a personal brand. I remember Jay-Z said he's not a business. I'm a businessman or something like that, right? So
I'm a
businessman, right? And it's real though, man. We are all really our own entity, right? Mm-hmm. And image is a lot, right? Absolutely. What you put out there, man, is actually something that's going to be out there, especially on the internet, forever. You know what I'm saying? You have to be conscious of what you do.
Yes, and what you believe in and what you speak and what you say, everything has to be constructed and planned. A lot of people don't realize that, or that kind of question you hinted at before, Jay, that's where that lies, where you lose sight of your brand and your image. And the minute you break from that, you will lose people because it's like, but that's why it's important to find one that you align with and that you can continue and maintain and sustain consistently.
What I've ultimately learned about this entire journey is people think entrepreneur is a physically hard job, but it's not. It's the mental. When someone says being an entrepreneur is hard, it's a mental thing.
But it's only if you're doing something that you don't really love to do. Then it can be hard in that situation, right? Yeah. But here's the deal, man. Like I was thinking about this the other day about Kanye West, right? So everybody know Kanye West can be a little bit out there, right? But the reason why, when he does stuff that's out there that doesn't really affect his brand, affect him, whatever, that's his brand to do crazy things.
Right.
Yeah. If he didn't do it, they'd be like, what's wrong with Kanye? He been too quiet. You know what I'm saying? So your brand is important, man. You know what I'm saying? What you put out there, man, definitely people expect that from you until you do something different and then they get to question you. So get into this arena that you in, man. What about your friends, man? You're a young man. I know they probably say, "What is wrong with you, man?" How did that happen, man? When you tell your friends you're gonna do this, man, what did they tell you?
Well, to be honest, I don't even really ask permission. I know it's
dope.
Wow.
Man, listen, that's great life with you, man. You know what I'm saying? You come here, I come in, give me your age, I'll give you mine, man. We start all over again, bro. I love that.
But I really do. Like, many people don't understand when you say, hey, this is what I'm doing. They almost try to project their own failure or them being scared on you. And I really try to encourage other people my age, but some people don't see it. Like, I have so many associates, and I try to encourage them to, hey, like, man, like, you need to look where the economy is going right now. And you don't even know how money works. So you don't care to, like, or do you not want to have that life experience, Like, the way I view the world is I want to try everything before I die. I don't care to be a celebrity, but I want to be just so I get that life experience. Yeah. And so I try my best, but it's just some people don't have the drive to really take on, that part of life. And so I can't force them to see the way I see it. And so unfortunately, I just had to take it on my own.
Absolutely.
With that being said, though, I have this thing about me where I understand how important it is to be around like-minded people. And I always try to build this this atmosphere of men, and I say men because we're able to bounce off of each other's masculinity, and we're able to compete against each other. So if I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna do 500 push-ups today, my friend is gonna be like, no, you're not gonna do 500 push-ups. If you do 500, I'm gonna do 600, right? So it's a healthy competition, a healthy environment, and that's something that I've really been trying to build for a long time. But it's harder than I thought it'd be.
It'll come. It'll come. Once you get into those circles and you seem like you got the right mindset to be open to meeting those people. And when they come, they'll come and they'll take you to the next level. And that's the beauty of having that open mindset to know, like, there's a greater world out there. I want to find it. And when you find it, the people will be there.
That's
I mean, doing what you're doing now, right? Hopping on a podcast, a business podcast in America, in Canada, right? And this been around us. Like, we all are entrepreneurs here. And we all do something probably a little bit different than what you do. But this is a way of getting around people like that and get around people that's going to push you. You know what I'm saying? So you become a part of the team, man. Maybe get on our Facebook group, man, and let's go. You know what I'm saying? Wake up, man. Let's go. Let's go make this thing happen, man. That's what it's all about. Derek, what's up, B?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
All right, man. You got any questions for this young man?
Man, I was just listening, man. I was like, man, he sound like how old you is again?
Absolutely.
You sound like an OG already, boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Old soul trapped in there.
That's good, though. That's what's gonna lead the pack.
Yeah. Nah. And to be honest, man, I know he said about what, 22 or something like that.
22.
But man, I've been getting very inspired by the younger crowd, man. I ain't gonna lie, like some of these young guys, man. Like, I've been going to conference after conference, and I'm really impressed by some of these young guys, early 30s, late, mid 20s, and they on top of their game, man. Like, they really about their business. So kudos to the young generation, man. It ain't all bad like the media try to portray it to be.
So, since we got you on here, what kind of things? Since Sheila ain't here, I gotta play the get into the deeper side of things. Like, what are some of the things in your life that led you to this point? Like, people of influence, like your parents, or like, break it down, like, for anybody listening, like, because this is very impactful to have like a younger person that acknowledges and is aware of so much that is greater than them and not just what everything is told to them. So who helped you foster that mindset?
Absolutely. And I've been through a lot. I have a very tough upbringing, but I truly believe that's the reason why I am the way I am and why I've accomplished things I've accomplished. If I had an easy life, I don't think I'd have the same drive to go out there and do the things that I do. I was originally born in Jamaica. I somehow found my way here to Canada. I came here by myself.
Wagwan.
I know I heard something. I
heard a little twang too, though. I heard that too. Yeah.
We try not to pick you apart, but we can't help it. And I'm thinking, like,
Canada, and I heard like some, the way he
Wagwan.
We're there.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Definitely. But I was born in Jamaica. I somehow found myself to Canada when I was 14. I stayed with some family. I finished high school here. I was playing sports at the time. I lived in Yellowknife. It's like a very, 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 like, one of those, it's a colder part of Canada. Oh, and then I moved to Toronto because I was playing sports. My mom was a soccer player growing up. And so I thought that was my dream. But I only believe that was my dream because she was my role model. She was my mom, my dad in one. So I really looked up to her for many, many things. I moved to Toronto and I went to England for a few months to play sports, moved back to Canada, and then Corona happened. And I just found myself in a position where I needed to decide, well, I realized that playing sports, no matter how hard I train, no matter how hard I work out, my destiny is still on my hands. So if my coach decided he's not going to play me that day, then I did all that workout for him to choose someone who I feel like I could outwork. And so I realized that being an entrepreneur my results are directly tied to the amount of work that I put in. And so the result to work ratio made more sense to me. And I doubled down on that.
Wow. Boy, this is impressive, bro. This is impressive. I don't even think you understand what's going on here. Man, listen, man.
I talk to 50-year-olds that don't have as much insight.
Absolutely.
I'm blown
Absolutely.
away, man.
Man, that is huge. That is huge. So how do your mom view what you're doing, man? Does she support you in your entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. I think it's amazing because being that we come from, well, there's certain things that, my mom is also from the older generation, so there's certain things I got to teach her for her to understand, but that's important to me to articulate in a way that is most comfortable to her, rather than trying to throw these big words and like, oh, you don't understand me. So I really try to articulate myself in a way that like, look, if I know you might not understand what I'm doing, but I know that you want the best for me. So if you want the best for me, all that I ask is that you trust in the decision that I'm making. You see that I'm not just sitting at home watching TV. I don't play video games. I'm out doing things that people my age are not really doing. So I just want you to trust in me, trust in what I'm doing. And if you don't see the results in a year or 2 years, I can be like, okay, let's go your route.
Listen, I got a daughter for you, bro. I got a daughter for you, bro. Yeah, man. But you know what? I definitely understand what you're saying, man. I know, women from that part of the country, right? Mm-hmm. They're about going to school. They're about working hard, and if they don't understand kind of what you're doing, man, you can really disappoint them, man. You know what I'm saying? So by you taking the time with your mom and kind of helping her along the way, this is what I'm doing. You trust me a little bit, give me a little leeway, man. You'll see the results soon, or whatever the case is. I salute you, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Now, I see a lot of I can say kind of masculinity in you, man. A man in you, though. So have you had a man around you? Because you're talking like you was raised by some men, bro.
To be honest, I just been through so much hardship. I've seen so many things that I had no choice but to man up at a very young age. As I said, I moved to Canada by myself. So, growing up, my mom wasn't around much. My dad died when I was 2 years old. And so I had my uncle around, but, everyone had their own life to live. And that kind of put me in a position where I had to learn a lot of things on my own. So funny story, what got me into entrepreneurship was when I was 13 in Jamaica, you're not allowed to sell candy in the schools. And what I did was I started selling the candy, and I was in 8th grade at the time, and I go out, buy these huge packs of candy for 1 week. So I use my lunch money, buy all these candy, and then I'll bring them to school and I'll sell them. And then I get a younger guy who looked up to me in like the 7th grade, and I kind of just distribute them. I distributed sales to him. He went ahead, sold it. I sold my portion. He came back to me. I gave him some of the profits, and I go back and buy more, and then repeat the process. And I did that until I graduated in grade 9. And that's when I moved.
No.
The reason why I'm so geeked is because business and life is about finding the rules, understanding the rules, and then finding the loopholes.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's the challenge of life, is because so many people just follow the rules and they don't even understand there are loopholes. There are ways around the rules. Johnny will tell you when he come back on, that whole the game that you think is a game is you can play it however you want to play the game. Like, and there's 80 million ways to play the game. And I love that because, again,
entrepreneurship at its finest. That's entrepreneurship, man. You got to figure it out.
Figure it out.
Come up with a solution, and like you did, man. So
that's what's up.
But
right there.
But what he just broke down is actually the quote of the day, right? Don't sit down. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunity to come. Get up and make them, right? Yeah. Madam C.J. Walker, man. That's basically what you did. You went and made it happen, man. And it's a lot of people. A lot of people, man. You like Danielle said, it's a lot of grown people sit back and because it ain't a perfect situation, they say, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of being, figuring out ways to make it happen. You know
what has shifted my mindset on that? It was really because I have a lot of paradigm shifts, and so I realized a lot of things very quickly, and so I don't have faith and I don't have hope. I don't leave anything in my life up to faith and hope, I realized that if you want to manifest anything in your life, manifestation only works based off actions. You can't manifest anything without doing anything, right? And think of, for example, someone's like, I reach out to this customer and they haven't got back to me. I hope they get back to me. No, like I'm gonna press you like till you give me an answer. I can't do that.
I got pressed last week too. I want to let y'all know he pressed me too. He said, he hit me up. Hey man, basically I thought I was gonna be on this. I'm like, you know what, bro? You'll be on next week. So that's, and he's absolutely right, man. The one who's willing to go the furthest, man, who willing to work the hardest, man, is gonna reap the reward, man. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. Hard work pays off.
That's that Puff Daddy mentality. That's what I see right there. That's it.
Yeah.
I want it. I get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's deep, man. Boy, I tell you, I see Danielle was over there going. She was cheering you on, bro.
It is hard to find people that get to this point. Mind you, I'm a coach, so it's hard to find people that can get to that point, and especially, I mean, that's my goal. Is I wish my son is like that at 22, where he's breaking it down, and I can see your intelligence, because that's how I am, and that's why I'm so geek, because it's like it's very hard to describe when you're naturally intelligent and you can solve problems, and when things don't make sense, you pivot. And it's like when you're trying to explain it to people, a lot of people, it's like, I ain't got time to explain it. I just know this is the right way. Just watch me, And so that's why I'm so geeky. I mean, because he's dropping gems now.
Yeah. So what kind of student was you, man, growing up? Would you say you got good grades or?
Well, I could have. When I say I could have, I did until I stopped being interested. I over time, I started having so many questions, and I'd be asking these questions to so many people, and no one could give me an answer. And it got to a point where, okay, I'm here learning science. What am I going to do with this? What exactly am I going to use this for? And I just couldn't figure it out. And so my interest slowly started to decrease. And I just started trying to figure out different ways. Like, okay, if I'm at the point now where I realize that this don't really make sense to me. And so how am I going to figure out if this is not my route and this is a traditional route, I have to consider what everyone's going to think of me, what my friends are going to say, what people who would have liked me don't like me because I'm doing something traditional. And then I'm just in a position where I was like, okay, so sports, I'm very athletic. I could probably use that to my advantage. And then I got to the point where I realized that that's not really a valuable option. And so I had to pivot into business. And I actually failed 4 businesses before I've actually got to the point where I am now. But I think there was a lot of experience that I learned there that I was able to take it and use it. And lucky enough, I was able to be around a lot of traditional business owners, people who I consider entrepreneurs. They don't have a big corporation, but I could see them one-on-one with their employees. And the whole time I was working with them, I was just trying to, listen.
Soak up some game.
Absolutely. I watch their body language. I watch how their employees react to certain things that they say. I work for people that are mean. I work for people that are nice. People that are too nice. People don't listen. People that are too mean. The people don't react nicely over time. So you have to try to find the happy medium where you can be a leader without being too over demanding, but not too nice enough that people respect you in the way that they say, hey, John, we're kind of lacking this area and I'd like you to double down there and teach Denmark how to, utilize what you have or what you know, so we could have 2 of you rather than 1. And yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, what are the 2 businesses that you had before?
I tried e-commerce first, and it didn't work out very well. It was very, very challenging in terms of trying to learn it on my own, and I failed. And then before I got into my own marketing agency, I actually went and paid a marketing agency, and I saw the experience that they were giving me, and I was like, man, I'm paying all this money. You guys are not even talking to me. I'm not getting enough communication. I'm not seeing any results. You guys say you're gonna, market this product, and you're marketing a different product. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so I've been with you guys for this much. I've paid you well over 20 grand. I don't see any results. And I'm like, all right. I left it there. I went and take the rest of the money that I was going to use to work with them, invest in a course and learn their business model. And then I took their business model and made it better.
Oh.
You know who I is?
You did.
Somebody else and make it better.
That make it better. You got to reinvent the wheel, man. That's
You ain't
real,
got
man.
to reinvent. Not everybody gonna be Bill Gates. And, not everybody gonna make a computer, man. Just take something, make it
that's
better.
awesome.
Create that customer experience that you expect to receive, and the blessings will come, man.
And how long have you been doing that now?
I've been doing it the entire process of get where I am now. I've been doing it for about 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And the marketing agency, I started at the same time, right? But in going through the process of wanting to leave working with them, I was still trying to learn it because I realized the opportunity there. But they were doing e-commerce, but I wanted to work with local businesses. So I didn't really see my opportunity spark until the market slowly started to open up. And I realized that, okay, these guys are going to have trouble getting back people through the door. And so I just had a little bit of patience. And once everything was back up, that's when I kind of utilized my knowledge and doubled down and started reaching out to all the different business owners who I see could benefit from where the market is.
So when you say marketing, what exactly, how do you help businesses? Like, do you make the websites? Do you make squeeze pages, funnels, or what type of marketing?
Well, it all depends. I don't like to give everyone a broad system. I like to make it personalized to the person. So if someone's a little bit more advanced where they are, we could give them a different system rather than if someone would be starting from scratch, right? So that way we're helping them where they are rather than be like, hey, John, we're going to come in here. We're going to change your own business model. Some people won't like that, right? And so we're there to help. We're not there to change anything. And it really depends on where they are in their business. Let's see if I can give you an example. Let's say I was working with a chiropractor and they already had a business over the course of, 3-5 years. Mm-hmm. I basically go through the entire process. Okay, what does your socials look like? What does your Google reviews look like? Do people have good things to say about you? Is anyone listening to you? Do you have an audience? If they don't have an audience, those are things that we focus on. Clean up their social media. Post things that people actually want to hear, not what they think they want to hear. And then we kind of revisit. Then we kind of
think about that.
Yeah.
So you just do like an audit of pretty much their websites, their social media, and look at that first to see where you can fix there.
And then we kind of have like a strategy session where they kind of give us all the ideas, what their brand message is, what they want to present to their customer. We take that and we utilize it in their marketing. So when you write any form of ad copies or we're building their landing pages, we're able to take what they want their brand to be and utilize that. So everything is literally tailored to that person and what they want their brand to be.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
Yeah, get your company name up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to stalk in real time. What's the name of the company?
Rebrand Advertising.
Rebrand. If you switch your name right here, go ahead and put your business name up there, or Facebook or something like that.
Yeah,
you gonna know that Brandon guy. No, this best way. But yeah, hey, listen, man, this is dope, man. I love to see this. I love to see this, man. Some people picking up the torch, young people picking up the torch, man, and running with it. And just like Derek said too, man, it's far too often we see young people doing the opposite, right? Doing something crazy. To see somebody, man, like yourself, man, reaching out to doing some great things, man. Salute to you.
No, that's awesome. That's definitely awesome, man. Yeah, keep doing it. And I would suggest, do you know about like funnels and things like that, building funnels?
Yeah, those are also included. So when we do the marketing, the funnel is one of the important things. So that's where the majority of the data come from. When we see how many people come in, right? So we have a vetting process because many businesses, well, I wouldn't say many businesses, but many marketers, when they sell to businesses, they think businesses want leads. Businesses don't want leads. A lot of them are not going to pick up the phone and call them when you send them these leads. So we kind of fill that gap as well. We go in there, we take on the process of, we know you're not going to call them, so we'll call them for you. We literally cover the entire process. We follow up with the leads for them. We have an entire automated process that goes out to the customer. Hey, send us a text, a 1 if you're on your way. Text us a 2 if you're outside. So we kind of have the entire process in terms of we get to see the customer journey until they are outside the door of our clients.
Nice. That's good, man. Listen,
Yeah, man.
Beautiful
great market.
website, by the way.
Huh?
I mean, I was expecting you to have a good website, but this
website is okay.
the website is legit, man.
Yeah,
let me pull it up, man. I'm not on my dual screen today.
I guess.
Very professional. I love it. Look, because you know people come and talk, and then the minute you pull that up, it'll be like, oh, huh. So I mean, especially when it comes to advertising and whatnot. Rebrand.
Advertising.com.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you go on the website, you will see also media production and white labeling services. So we know there's also many people or young guys like myself who wants to get into the agency space. So if they don't have people to market for them or do their media production for them, and I say media production in terms of going to their client businesses and doing the content for them. So taking pictures, taking videos, and utilizing those on their social media accounts as well in their marketing. So if there's guys who don't have the team in place to do that, we kind of white label our service for them. So our guys will go in and represent their brand, and so we're able to not only help someone, but we also, get paid for doing it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it.
Yeah, I see it.
Trying to pull it up. I'm on this weak internet, man. I'm on here, so
man, don't hurt yourself because you'll crash and fall off like you did.
Let me see, make sure I got it right.
You're definitely in the right business.
So, keep going, man. You're gonna be big, man.
Yeah, you're
so what's
the right business for sure.
Yeah. So what's your 5-year plan, man? Where you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I more have like I'm more focused on where the market is right now. So my plan is to really double down in cash flow and really, really invest in a bunch of assets. And then once I got a good stack, I remove all the cash, just have a bunch of assets. I'll then go and take loans against those assets and then go buy more assets. And then if I want any toys, then that's
the time to buy. Are you looking to get into real estate soon?
Absolutely. It's a very slow process for me. I realize real estate is a very big game. And so I don't want to go in there and spend money unless I absolutely know what I'm doing. And so it's a very slow process for me. So my money will mainly be going towards crypto and stocks where I could, there's a guarantee that, the market's going to come down and it's going to go back up. So if crypto does come down to something like $14,000 per Bitcoin, then, that's going to be amazing if in 5 years it's at 150. So.
Yeah. Man, it's like you got it all laid out, man. You see, you got it all laid out. So how can we be down, man? What we need to do, man? How do we buy in, bro? Right. We're gonna see you on Shark Tank one of these days, man. You know
he gonna be he the type that's gonna be behind the scenes making all the power moves, kind of like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis in the back, just
absolutely knocking out hits.
Singing. I'm just pulling all the strings, baby.
So when we ask you a question, so why is this your first podcast you ever done, man?
I'm a very private person. I like to have a very private life. I realize the internet is a place where there's the discrepancy between it working in your favor and working against you. I'm debating whether or not it's worth it because that comes with a lot of people who are going to dislike you for absolutely no reason for being successful at what you do. And that alone comes with its own mental challenges. And if I want to grow a business to a certain extent, I need to get in the right state of mind. It's something that I will start to get into more often, but I think I'm at a stage of my life right now where I need to double down on business and slowly build my personal brand over time and not rush it. So if I want something to last, I'm gonna have to take my time. But I do realize that now content it's being more in demand. And so right now, if I go and I do this with you guys and I go and get my editor to chop it up, I can then utilize that and I have content for TikTok, I have content for Instagram and Facebook. And this is literally, a one-to-many, thing. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna get into more often for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Man, that's dope.
Smart, calculating individual. I like
absolutely.
Because I help with content creation, so I know a lot in that area. And definitely just about what you do, like how they services, that's all content, right? and it just needs to be chopped up in little segments and then just put out there. Because what happens is the people who you're looking for can't find you if you're not out there promoting yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how they find you, by putting the videos out there, you know, flooding social media. And then now you attract your tribe because of, you know, your message.
And that's exactly what I've been going back and forth with to, you know, make it make sense to me and really see the pros versus cons. Because when I look at all these big YouTubers, they really could sell anything, and they have a customer base that if they literally get one person to give them $1, they can make $30,000 a day. They can make there's a big opportunity there, and the market's only going to shift and get more complicated over time. And so that's really what I'm trying to learn. It's a business model, right? So I'm trying to learn that business model, utilize it, and take my experience in marketing to market myself.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that because to me, it's you want to make sure it's you and that it represents you, and that you don't just get out there, because I can tell you're invested in the long game.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not just rushing to get out there. So I like, because again, you're 22. I mean, you still got a lot of life.
If I'm being honest, I think one of my main driving factors is fear. I know what it's like to have nothing, and I never want to feel that feeling again. Amen. And I want more. I want a lot. I don't think there's any such thing as there's too much, because we're playing in a game that is rigged. And in order for you to have freedom, real freedom, you have to have a lot of that thing that doesn't matter. So I need to have a lot of it.
He said we're playing a game that's rigged.
Yeah.
It's rigged, man. It's rigged, bro.
It's been
Yes,
rigged.
sir.
But here's the thing, though. We got this guy on here named Johnny Leverage, right? He show you how to bring those eyes over to your favor a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, Johnny Leverage, what's up, bro?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Man, great. I don't know if you heard this gentleman, man, speaking, bro, but come on, bro. Did you hear him talking at all?
I heard bits and pieces. I was on the phone with a client.
Yeah,
I had to take care of something real quick, but I heard bits and pieces. So first and foremost, I want to say congrats at being as young as you are, and having the thought process that you have. I don't even want to go into any accolades or physical, tangible good. Nah, brother, the mindset that you have at the age that you have it, is possibly the most valuable asset that you have right now, because that's where all the other opportunities you're gonna be able to see them and be aware of them, and have the youthful energy to pursue them religiously. That's what you're gonna enjoy them. But I said we both know that the hustle ain't it's a grind. So when you able to take advantage of it, when you still have that youthful energy, that's really the most leverage you could be creating.
Right.
That's real, man.
So I just had to. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Man, listen, man, I really don't got no more questions for you, man. You answered every single question, bro. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got more questions? We're gonna jump into the show, but you're welcome to stay. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple questions I'm gonna ask everybody, but go ahead, D.
I mean, like I said, I asked him a few questions, and he pretty much answered it. But let's connect after this. Definitely, I would love to follow you, and follow your journey and see how we can add value down the line.
Yeah. Okay. So listen. I mean, any question for us? I guess that'd be a good question for you, man. Any question for us?
If you got any for us.
So I guess you gotta know what we do, right? So I'm in real estate. Okay. I'm in residential and commercial real estate. Storage facilities, trailer park, trailer homes, all that good stuff here in the U.S. and 48 states. Danielle, you tell them a little bit what you do.
So I got manufacturing background, and that's what led me to switch to entrepreneurship and small business coaching. Kind of like you during COVID, I saw that some of the reasons what I perceive for people to be failing is because they didn't have their businesses set up properly, and they didn't have a lot of the back end stuff, and they couldn't pivot in time. And so I wanted to be kind of the bridge to help people understand how they can stabilize their businesses for those tricky times. So that's kind of what I do. Johnny?
I I am a wealth strategist, a business advisor, and a trust consultant. So basically, what I do is I help people not wonder about key financial decisions,
Right.
namely like retirement. One of the things that I'll just specifically help people do is I got a background in audio engineering. So one of the things that I do and I help other audio engineers do is create retirement plans for themselves, create um, disability, insurance for themselves, where
Mhm.
typically these things only exist in areas where you go get a regular W-2 9 to 5 situation. So it's just helping business owners and investors get a good grasp of their financial situation,
Right.
whatever their goals are, and put them in positions to really reach those goals.
Facts.
Yeah, and me, like I was explaining, I'm a videographer,
Mhm.
and now I do content. I help people with content. I do financial literacy. I help people, understand how money really works. I got my license to sell life insurance, health, and annuities. So we help people in those areas, financial planning, a little bit like what he said about helping people with, retirement plans, index accounts to put their money in the market and things like that. So yeah, pretty much anything business credit, personal credit, we help you leverage it and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And I'm dropping the podcast too, so I'll be doing podcasting and stuff.
Right.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's top secret right now.
Okay, okay.
I got the name in my head, but I don't want to like put it out there
Yeah,
yet until we
yeah.
close to the time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm doing all the paperwork and all that stuff, so I just want to make sure everything is.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm
So
the
we got
youngest one here, and I've talked about what my plan is over the next year or two, and that's only from a young guy's perspective. I'd like to get a good understanding of what you guys' plan are over the course of the next 2 to 3 years to see if I could take anything away from you guys, so I could use it myself.
I can answer that off rip. Um, Systems. I am a serial entrepreneur. I got into, as brother Derek said, we do a lot of the similar stuff. Me personally, I'm one of those people to where like I have a bunch of ideas. And I got into the life insurance space of things. I specifically do like private banking.
Yeah.
So I got into that because I was like, all right, who are the people that can get into other industries? Banks. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, how many different companies, have they had their hands in? So I was like, well, if I take this model and scale it to what my goals and my dreams are, let me, get to another step. So it's just systemized. Right now, having my business run on its own, having, the systems in place that free up that time. So that way the next thing that's in my book of ideas,
That time.
I can reach on to that without having left a bunch of unfinished business. Now that business is still, it's an operation still going. So for me, it's just creating systems. It's just
Absolutely.
taking what I'm doing and I'm passionate about, and then turning it into a system that can run on its own, optimizing it and moving to the next, because it's a long bucket list of stuff that needs to be done in my book. So
Man, we sound similar because I was just about to say the same thing. Systems. Me right now, I'm so focused on building systems because, like he said, once you put these systems in place,
It's on
the
some
word
autopilot.
system, it's an acronym for save yourself time, energy, and money,
Ooh.
right? So once you put systems in place, business systems, literally you can just leave it on autopilot and you'll be making money in your sleep pretty much based off those systems. But a lot of people don't understand them and they run from them or they shy from them because it takes time. We're
it's a
so
lot of
used
work
to,
in the beginning.
it's a lot of work. So because we're so used to getting paid, trading, our time for dollars, a
Mhm.
lot of people don't understand like, okay, I got to do this for how long? They like, oh, now I gotta get paid, right? They don't understand the value of just being patient, putting
Right.
together a system, so that way that system could pay you for life. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty much what I'm mainly focused on right now, putting in a lot of systems for my businesses. for the podcast, these things like that. I do want to have a big podcast, so I plan on like interviewing a lot of people, going to a lot of events, making connections, things like that, and just being able to put something together that I can add more value. So I go to these events, I'm looking at like, okay, well, how can I add more value? How can I, be the person that's known for this or known for that? So, so that way people know my face and get to know me, right? I'm going in there like a student. I'm looking around. It's like high school, right? You got 9th graders, you got the 12th graders, right? It's levels to it. You got 9th, 10th, 11th. Before you reach to 12th grade, those are the cool kids, right? They're getting all the awards. They all know each other, right? So, you have to work your way up. So that's how I kind of see myself in that position, that I see these people and I'm just trying to figure out like where my place is, and then that way be known for that. So that's what I'll be doing over the next couple of years, putting systems in place and just being able to add tremendous value and help other people put systems in place too.
Let me get our podcast therapist in real quick. Got Miss Sheila. What's up, Miss Sheila? How you doing today?
I am doing so well. So well.
Excellent.
Yeah,
right on time.
Right.
Did you hear this question?
I did not, and I was going to ask him to repeat itself because I wanted to.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
My question was basically, I kind of shared with everyone what my plan is over the course of the next year, 2 years, depending on where the market is right now and what's with everything that's happening. So I was just pretty much asking what everyone's plan is over the course of the next year to 2 years. So hopefully you guys drop some gems and I can steal them and go utilize them.
Let's be honest.
Sheila trying to take over the world.
I do think that I'm like Pinky in the Brain, try to take over the world. Now, I think in the next couple of years, though, it is about branding for me, right? It's about getting known to be the leading person. I say I want to be a friend and expert leader in the field of changing lives. And I think it's so important for us to, for me to, I started off very large, like doing a lot of stuff and just condensing that down so that I could be known for the Stop It Now individual. And that's my framework. It's trademarked and really become one of the number one African American. Well, no, I'm just gonna say women in the in this field. I love what I do, but I think it's important as entrepreneurs to have the right mindset so that they can have the right skill sets or develop the right skill sets so they can take the right actions that's required to not just start their business, but to sustain and maintain it. And so for me, over the next 2 years, it's really making sure that I got the right people around me that's feeding into me, that we're exchanging energy. I'm not giving too much and I'm not taking too much. So building a team, always make sure you build a team of individuals. And, I'm at my system stage now. So that's what I'm doing, putting the systems together. So by that time, it should be up and going and, working on Sal University, putting ourselves out there. So, yeah.
Look, I gotta bring everybody's together because I'm still in the baby phase of my business. So for me, I really want to establish myself around the city that I live, because I live in Birmingham, Alabama. I love it down here. I see so many people that need help, and I really want to maintain Birmingham. Like I said, it has the highest concentration of Black people, and it's going to be the next victim to slowly start to pick at that. So I really want to help reinforce in a way that I can. So I really want to establish myself locally, kind of like what Derek was saying, start increasing my networking events, working on my personal brand. I like that idea because finding myself, I'm at a similar point in time like you are, where it's like I want to make sure the right person is conveyed, somebody that I can consistently convey that aligns with my bigger purpose and mission and building. I'm actually working on just making solid connections, exactly what Sheila said, building a team.
Yeah.
Because what you said, like I had to leave a lot of people behind, and so but I'm finding so many better people, and like really identifying, you could help me, you can help me. This is how you can help me. And then occasionally when you find somebody that's at that point where they haven't found somebody and it's like, I can take you real quick, put you on my team, you know, build you to the point where, you know, potentially find something of your own. But
Yeah.
that's what was done to me. Like that person that finds people when they're kind of lost and kind of gives them a little bit of light. And then when they're ready to go, then they can fly. So,
Nice.
networking, branding, and then yes, the systems will be inevitable. They will.
Let me.
And the
Here's
right
something else.
systems. I think the right systems for your field, right? So I think that even navigating, you know, what's going to be right for you and is that going to work for you? And I'm going to say this, I work with a lot of 6-7 figure individuals that are stressed. So making sure you know how to manage your stress, you know, and they can have systems set up in teams, but it's still about how much you're taking on. You know, are you a high performer? And as a high performer, sometimes we can have high stress levels. So how much are we, you know, personalizing the business side of things? Are we allowing things to just happen? You know, do we have a system set up? So Danielle knows this. I have a system set up where, you know, I do my discovery stage, my strategy, but I have like a small launching period for everything. That's my implementation stage. And that's for me to test. I want to see if it's going to work. I want to get some feedback, like, and then I implement. And then I execute on what I know will work. But so many times I think that we can personalize failures and things like that. So consistently working on the mindset, but consistently making sure that whatever the business doing, you're still doing self-care practices for you, you know, and making self-care a priority over the next couple of years or along the whole journey, right?
Yes.
You are your
Be
business,
important.
right?
Huh?
You are your business.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I got one thing to say. Being that you are as young as you are, the biggest thing that you could do to like really help yourself as a business owner and just as a person, as a man, is if you don't care what people think about you right now, you are on that path. Develop that and cultivate it and strengthen it as much as possible. Um, and I say that because there are going to be decisions that I don't think any of us in here we don't do what you do specifically. So there's only so much that we could actually tell you. There may be a situation where you may get an opportunity that in my field it may not be a smart move, but for you it would be. Um, if it's going to be to the benefit of you reaching your goals, do not. Nobody else knows what God has planned for you other than God and that little voice inside of you. Um, so at the end of it all, I mean, yes, please listen to the wisdom of everybody that's up here, but then above all else, you know, forget everybody else. Listen to God and listen to yourself.
Which
Yeah,
he has a proven track record of
that's what I
already.
was gonna say. You've been
You
successful
know,
now, so yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You take it in and then you process it. I can kind of see how your brain works. You take in the data and you pick what you want and what you like, and then you
That's
use
the
that to
best way to
drive
do
And
it.
remember,
Yeah, but they say to whom much is given, much is required, right?
yourself.
And
remember,
you know, and as we're at being younger, and I don't know, have we all started at young ages?
I've been an entrepreneur a long
A
time.
long time, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's
yeah,
the
a long time.
forgiveness part of it, right? Because I think being younger, you're already kind of, you know, like Johnny said, you're figuring you got this thing where you don't care, but then you want to care, and just that's why I think that at that age it's just so important to, when you're carrying such a big responsibility, to just make sure that you listening to yourself and managing yourself, you know, um, and being gentle with yourself, right? You know, being your best friend, because this is you know, depending on where you're trying to go, you know, you could look to the left, you could look to the right, and everybody ain't probably there for you. You know what I mean? They probably there for your mission, your money, whatever you got to get, but everybody ain't there for you. And, you know, and sometimes we can beat ourselves up, you know, and you want to be your own best friend on this journey of entrepreneur. And that's for the audience too. You know, I meet a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm like, would you say that to your friend? Like, no, I wouldn't say that to my friend. Well, why are you calling yourself stupid and dumb? And you know what I mean? And so we can have a very much critic inside of our head that puts us down, that makes us feel bad, that nobody knows that conversation that's happening in your head. And we have to learn how to be gentle with ourselves, you know, as we're creating space to grow, to make the impact, to help, you know, if it's with a product or a service.
That is, well, she said that is not accountability, and don't ever confuse it as such, because that's it. And I'm only just saying this because I was a 22-year-old young man before, and it's very easy to confuse being hard on yourself than holding yourself accountable. So just keep that in mind, because the bigger the task that you look to accomplish, like Sheila just said, is it's gonna be more pressure. So when you feel that pressure and you feel like, I made a mistake, you know, those are probably the most important times to really be gentle and be, you know, caring with yourself, because you know how much that meant to you. And you want to make sure that you get back to that position, and that you perform. If you didn't perform at your best, that the next time you do perform, you do. And that only happens when you're in tune with you. You're aware of yourself, what you feel, what you think, what your goals are, and that's what matters.
And we grew up in a society where negative self-talk is sometimes masculine, right? Like this whole kind of rough talk to yourself, but that's really not conducive to high performance, right? It's not conducive to you feeling motivated and inspired all the time. And so you just kind of want to have a compassionate relationship, you know, with yourself and how you talk to yourself. And I like how you said that, Johnny. That's very different than holding yourself accountable, you know, to something. The way you speak to yourself, you can still hold yourself accountable and teach and speak to yourself in a way that's still kind.
You know, it would be interesting, man, to see.
Let me read this quick thing with him real quick.
Okay.
I heard this the other day and I was like, wow, right? We get what we think about most of the time, right? And you know, 99.9% of the time, you know, our actions follow our thoughts, right? So as a man thinketh, so shall he, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that stems from our belief systems. We're unconscious 90% of the time, so we're making unconscious decisions. So it's important for you to have belief systems in place that will support who you want to be and where you want to go. But I'm fully aware of that concept.
Yes. So whatever we think about on a daily basis, that's who we become. So like if you constantly thinking about, like, you know, winning, you know, on this next mission, this goal, you know, goal driven, you'll be right, man. You'll be straight, because when I was your age, I wasn't thinking like that.
At all.
Like, you know, Jamaican, you know the culture, you know what I'm saying? Jamaican culture, we want to go club every weekend.
Absolutely.
We want to drink, we want to smoke, you know, like that's just what everybody else is doing, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you're on the track what you're on right now, just keep thinking like those thoughts, like of, you know, winning, you know, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, goals. Like you'll be on the right track.
Now he said he was, you know, he's interested to see what everybody thoughts was, right, with that question. So as now we've been listening to him for about 30 minutes or so now, right? To me, it'd be very interesting in what he gleaned from everybody. What did he get from that? You know what I'm saying? Because I know you're very intelligent, you know what I'm saying, to be able to break that down to what you actually got from all that. I know it was a lot, you know what I'm saying, but you probably got to answer right now, man.
I'm about to say, let him process.
You got to answer right. Like he's ready to say something now. So, let's go here. Let's go.
I got 3 things from everyone so far, and that is everyone is focused on systems, right? Self-care and branding. So I know we talked about this earlier. We talked about personal branding. Everything that you guys said today, I'll take that into consideration when I say, hey, I need to go and build my personal brand. I know what that consists of, and I know what I should do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I see that you guys find the importance in it. And if you guys see the importance in it, then that clearly there's something I'm missing. And so I need to take you guys' advice and use it to the best of my advantage. And self-care is something I'm big on. I do meditate. I do meditate as much as I can. And so that's the way I'm able to process most of my thoughts. So I'm not filled with all these things that don't matter when I have more important things to deal with. And systems, my business model is pretty straightforward. So majority of my stuff is already systemized. And so I really just have to continue to train people and put them in the right direction, and just kind of expand upon what I already have.
Dope.
You know, when you said that, it made me think about last week's show when old boy was talking about he came in and he talked about the value. Remember, he was going to go talk to some young kids about the value of, I guess, like in sports contracts, they're giving people.
Oh, your image, your based on your
compensation.
Who was talking about that on the show last week?
Derek.
The other Derek,
Yeah,
right?
Derek.
So the other Derek. So last week he was talking about, you know, how, you know, in college now, sports individuals are getting checks because of their image, right?
Yeah.
And I think that a part of self-care and branding matches, because you want people to see you as poised and kind and confident, right? You don't want to come across like, a part of your brand is your poise, it's your position, it's how you approach people, how people feel around you, right? So part of our brand, I think sometimes we think externally, like our logos or our colors or our images, but a part of your brand too is how you interact with people. And the more you can care for yourself, then the more present you can be. And so when you're talking to someone, your energy is coming across and they want to do business with you because of your presence, because you're present in your body and you're present in the conversation. And I think a lot of people, we can't get that from a lot of people nowadays because they're so distracted, right? And they're so distracted with their phones or with the thoughts that's in their head, or because they're anxious and things like that. And so a part of branding is self-care, right? And knowing how to show up present and confident, right? In alignment, right?
That's the beauty of branding, because once you lock it in, you can sell anything.
It's in there. Yeah, that's true.
Sell anything.
So,
because I don't know if y'all have ever met like CEOs and people that you wanted to meet that own these companies and things like that, and then you actually meet them, and you're like, I did not think that, and not even I'm not even talking about access to them. Like, I do feel like you should have security around you and you should be very much, but just in a conversation, sometimes it's just you could tell that they're high strung, right? You could tell that it's something going on, or, you know, that it's just not the connection that you felt, and they don't match their brand, I guess, you know?
They say that's the biggest mistake to do, is to meet your idol. All right, because a lot of times they're not who you think they are, right?
Yeah.
So, or a famous person that you really admire, or whatever the case is. So,
like they say, rivals become idols, right?
Yeah.
Or
so listen,
idols become rivals.
Idols become rivals. Yeah.
So this was dope, man. I know you're gonna go to that next level for sure. Absolutely, it's undeniable. I'm definitely watching for sure. And if anything we can do, man, definitely reach out to us, man. Make sure you get all our social media handles, all that good stuff. You know, please stay on, man. So
my laptop is about to die. I could message you, Jay, and you kind of get me in contact with everyone. I know.
Give
me branding and marketing is my my area of expertise. So if you guys have any questions, anything I can help with, please do let me know, and I'll do my best to offer some help.
For sure.
Absolutely. If you want to come on again, let us know, man.
Congratulations on your endervors. I said congratulations on all your endeavors.
Absolutely. Tell Canada we said what's up, man. Toronto.
Tell Drake we said what's good.
Tell him come through. All right, my brother. You live in America, come holler at us, man.
All right, brother.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Appreciate you.
Keep going, man. Keep going. It's your world, man.
Absolutely. With me, I only have a couple questions, man. That kind of fall in line with what we was talking about a little bit, man. Image, branding, and things of that nature, right? So a little comical but serious, right? So let's jump right into this thing, man. I think this is important, right? So what does your image say about your business? You think about that, man. You know, you walking up and down the street, or you going to different places, or whatever the case is, and you say you this big business person, but you ain't dressed like you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna step out first.
Okay.
I remember a few years ago, because like I don't know if I told you guys, but I had dreads, right?
Yeah.
I had long dreads. Yes, I had long dreads for about 20 years.
Oh wow.
Like 2 times. I cut it one time back in 06 and I regrew it back a year later, right? But now before I was getting into network marketing, there's a lady named Stormy Wellington. She's huge. She's a coach as well. She's huge in this network marketing field, right? And we, this particular company was selling like, weight loss stuff and teas and potions, bottles and whatever it is, right? Right. That's what people say, right? But she was on her live one time, and this thing stuck out to me. This one I still had my dreads, and she was like, "A lot of y'all people trying to sell somebody a dream and looking like a nightmare.
Mm.
You can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare."
Wow.
And I was like,
"Wow, man.
Wow." I had to like ponder on that. And I was like, because then I'm trying to, relate it to every other field, right?
Yeah.
Like, man. So basically, she was telling me, like, you can't be trying to sell somebody something and you don't look apart, right? Like, that's just like, say you're trying to sell weight loss stuff, but then you're overweight. Right?
Yeah.
You haven't gone through the process, or you haven't gone through that transformation, right? To be able to try to sell somebody, for them to buy into you. Remember, it's the brand. We're talking about brand. For them to believe you, right? Because your products could be crap, or your products could be great. They're not buying the products, they're buying you. Right? So when she said that, I was like, yo. But I was already contemplating, like, cut my hair, changing up my look. I felt like there was this new person inside of me that wanted to rise. And, that old look that I was going by for 20 years didn't serve me no more, right? So I said, you know what, let me cut. And I swear to you, like, I have that voice playing in my head like all the time. And I'm like, yo, you can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare. And
Can't sell a dream looking like
I want to know what you look like.
Right. Well, and let me.
I know I had long dreads. I used to keep them up, but then it had some times when they were scruffy looking, and I didn't like how they looked no more. I just didn't. It was just like that part of me was like that. Not saying dying, but for better words, going out the other way while I was.
You had to shed your old skin.
Yes, I had to shed that.
You've been renewed. You got renewed. So I get it.
Renewed, and then I started with the financial literacy. So I kind of just like was preparing myself pretty much for that, and I feel like once I did that, I related back to that quote, like, you are your business, you are the brand. So you got to represent yourself in that light. So yeah.
So I've always struggled with this one. How much of your image, or what does your image say about your business? And I've struggled with this for a long time. Because I am a very much, I like to have fun. I like to dance. I like to, you know what I mean? And a part of that, I feel like trying to fit. So I feel like I represent the population of women that's like me, right? That are definitely, professional women, but they still have a personal life and they learn how to integrate the two, right? And so because at one point there was this assimilating type of thing where I felt like I had to speak a certain way and dress a certain way and be a certain way to represent the business. And I had assimilated to a place that wasn't aligned with me. You know what I mean? And so I think that we have to be mindful when we start talking about what does your image say about your business. I think it depends on the business. And then I think it depends on your clientele, and the authenticity Because sometimes when you're congruent, then your energy is going to come across, whether you in a t-shirt, whether you in tennis shoes, as long as you clean and you don't
that's
stink,
true.
right?
That's true. Yeah.
And so I kind of always struggle with this because I'm not the heel wearer. I think I got a picture of I had was an MC and I wore some heels and I put it on there like, listen, you can't get me in the heel, but she got me in the heel, right? I'm gonna have some chucks on, some pearls. It's just this very much integrated, and I don't feel like my style when you see me and I say I'm a PhD candidate and I own my own business. I don't think that is what people see when they see me. Like if you really interact with me, it's like, oh really? Yeah, because I don't match that. And so I've kind of always, and even on my pictures, like they want to use the ones with the dresses. I don't know if y'all been on my social media, but they want to use the one with me all dressed up in my hair. And I'm like, no, use the one of me sitting down with my hair big. Like, because I like that image of casualness because we're having an intimate conversation. And I don't want to come across like very much like this astute professional that, but I think that people get that in their mind with my business. And that's why I said, I think that it's important to consult an image consultant or somebody that like deals in that in your field to really see what image does best represent your business or your field.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said when I first started my business, I was definitely in the club. They were like, Sheila, you cannot go to the club like you own a business. I was like, but what do me? Now I wasn't acting up in the club, but it was just like I felt restricted and like, no, I wasn't acting up and dancing on tables, but it's definitely, I feel like a dilution of, I feel we have a perception of who you're supposed to be versus accepting ourselves for who we are. And the more that you can stay congruent with who you are, then the more energy you're going to have and the more motivation and inspired. The more you get off from who you are, then your authenticity leave. And you can get unmotivated and uninspired. Like I got to dress myself up to do this thing, And then I think there's the other side of some people who don't even want you to know they own a business. See, look at you, Derek. Look at your picture. Now you pop that picture up there like that. Looking all like
what happened?
Looking at your picture, how you got the super clean branded picture right there.
Yeah,
super clean.
Listen, thanks to financial literacy, got me cleaned up like that.
I love that. Go ahead, plug your stuff, man.
I got the old pictures too now. Like I got the old stuff too. So I mean, it's a transformation for me.
Yeah. But I do feel like whatever floats your boat, whatever image that floats your boat, and you're congruent with that, I think you're going to better be able to deliver whatever product and service that that you have when you can stay as close to you as possible. And maybe your image needs to be cleaned up, like. Or maybe you need to be shaped up a little bit, right? You may be a little rough around the edges. Probably need to go see a speech person, a talk, you know what I mean? Yeah. To kind of sharpen your image, in whatever that is. So, but what does my image say about my business? I think it says that I am approachable and realistic. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, Sheila, because your image is also your words.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, because somebody can look like a business person all day. You see a lawyer that look like a lawyer, and then they open up their mouth and say something crazy, and you're like,
man.
Okay. But, and I say that because I'm very similar to Sheila, and that's part of the reason why I haven't yet taken promo pictures, because it's like, this person's supposed to look like this, and it's like, but no, I'm comfortable. I want to be seen as approachable. That's just who I am. I can't be like the realtors with the heels and the suits and and it's funny because some of those things I've strayed away from, because it's almost like, to me, it's like flowers and butterflies. Like that does not attract me. So I don't, that's not my area, and that's not where I'm going to go. I had said something recently about, girls with bundles and lashes. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not my tribe. So I can't relate to them. I can't, I'm like with Sheila, where it's like, this professional person that still has a life. And so I think it's interesting finding that balance, but anything you can do before closed dot is how you speak though.
Yeah.
And that is a part of your image.
Yeah, and I think that we may have some people on the show, because what came up in my spirit was, you know, and when I'm saying that, that's why I said I think we all need to sharpen your image. So whatever that is, I do feel like it needs to come across clean and, you know, well put together. But I don't think it looks like, you know, a black suit and tie all the time, right?
Facts.
You know, it doesn't have to look like that. And I think that sometimes when we think about professionalism, that is the idea of what professionalism is, like the black suit and tie. And professionalism has become such a diverse thing now, where you can come across professional in your etiquette, in your words, in, you know, not wearing too much cologne or perfume, right? Like that you can come across very much professional and still have an authenticity to just, you know, a mild, kind of more mild dress. Now, in another part of your image is how, because I do want to, because I think that I don't want people to feel like, our audience to feel like I'm saying that image is not important. I think it's important. I just think that yourself is your image, and a part of you sharpening you is going to be beneficial to the business. And I think that a lot of times we try to set our business up, our image of our business, so much separate than us. And then when it's like, let me meet the CEO, that's when you have the word issues and, you know, like the disconnect, like, wait, this your business? Like, it's not even like a match, right? So yeah, I think image is important though.
Image is very,
and I'm talking about social media
important.
image, what you post, what you.
He gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think all of that is important.
I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't even see that.
Hey, look, my bad.
I have a technical issue.
I had another client call. My bad.
No, you get it.
Good problems.
I ain't mad at you.
Yo,
you get it.
I wanted to touch on this one, because I work in financial services. Brother Derek work in financial services, so he can probably attribute to this. A lot of times people get so focused on image that they miss the substance. There's a quote I wanna share that I shared. You may have seen it, brother Jay, but I shared it. I was reading The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and it said we tend to judge wealth by what we see because that's the information that we have in front of us. We can't see people's bank accounts or brokerage statements, so we rely on outward appearances to gauge financial success: cars, homes, Instagram photos. Modern capitalism makes helping people fake it until they make it a cherished industry. But the truth is that wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the nice cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought, the watches not worn, the clothes foregone, and the first class upgrade declined. Wealth is financial assets that haven't been yet converted into the stuff you see. That's not how we think about wealth, though, because you can't contextualize what you can't see. I say that to say so many of us spend our businesses are based on what we saw somebody else do or what we see. And the truth of the matter is most of the time it's a lie. It's a mirage. It is a whole facade that somebody was like, if I create this, I know that they're going to buy into it.
If I get this new car, this BMW, I know they're going to know I got this bread, you know? That's true.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so...
Yeah, but I think that's why, right? So that's why image is so important, because I think that there is a lot of businesses that mirage is what is sustaining them, right? That image is what's sustaining them. That's what's getting people to call them, which is getting. I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm saying that is it, though, right? That is what. So you really have to, by that. And I do think that you have to, you know, be a higher level thinker, If we think about the pyramid, right? Like you have to be in kind of like that higher tier to know when you see that stuff, well, that costs that much and that costs that much. And that, so, you know, and like really thinking like, so how much money does this really person really make? Or how is this person trying to show me that they make this much money and they really don't, right? So I think that that's a whole nother way of thinking. You know, when you go to social media, you know, the average consumer is not thinking that, right? The average consumer is truly thinking that that's real gold around them rappers' necks, and those are real diamonds, and that's their cars, and you know what I mean? And Johnny, I agree with you 100%. I'm glad we're having this conversation because I think that as entrepreneurs, we can dump a whole lot of money in trying to and not call a person like Johnny in the beginning or get with a person like Derek to make sure that we're financially literate, right? As entrepreneurs and being mindful with our money and not try to just throw it to create this image of success because of what we think success looks like and show up successful in the presence of success. And that's going to convey to your consumers in conversations and in any room better than you trying to look like you're successful, but you can't hold a conversation, you know, about your finances or your product or your services or anything, right?
So tie this statement into what we're talking about right now. So people would rather get told a pretty lie than the ugly truth.
Yeah.
How you tie that in?
Look, most of the millionaires, the people I know that have money, like, and I don't mean like they're rich. I mean like they have options. They can do whatever. They have wealth, financial success. They dress however they want to dress. They wear Skechers, they wear whatever shoes they use.
I've seen it, bro.
Hey, I love these shoes are comfortable, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
care what you're saying. And the emphasis, and there's so many people who be like, I ain't finna listen to him. Look at what he got on.
Yeah,
Look at what he got on. And they gonna go listen. Look, oh, he got the suits and the whatever.
Yeah.
But
Look
this
at his
person
bank
here,
account.
Listen.
and that's why I read that
Look at
quote
his
because
portfolio.
we don't see that. We don't.
And let me tell you, I was just having this conversation the other day with one of my friends, and basically, before you make it per se, it's like you gotta look rich or look like you got wealth.
Fake it until you make it.
And then, but when you reach there, like these guys that you're talking about, that's already multimillionaires. That some of them are billionaires. It's like they don't even care now how they dress. They could just be with a plain black shirt every day.
Yeah.
While you may walk right past that person and don't even know that person is worth $1 billion.
That's why I told that young brother, do not care that if I had to equate, and this is not saying this is the final list or whatever, but if I had to equate levels of success and then the traits that attributed to levels of success, when I look at the more successful people, one of the most common traits is that I don't care what you guys think if you don't like this.
Look at Jay-Z.
Yeah, I was about to say, on a scale of Jay-Z to Kanye, there's a way to do it.
I'm saying forget both of them. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Bill
Warren
Gates.
Buffett.
Warren Buffett is the best because he's still living in the same house.
Same car. Look like too. If I'm not mistaken.
Cadillac. Same Cadillac. But
I think that we're talking about. I think we're talking about a deeper issue in our culture where image is. So, and here's the thing. This is kind of what weed out the entrepreneurs from the. You said I'm breaking up?
No, I said break it down. You about to
this is a break. Like I feel like you have the entrepreneurs. It's like college students. I ever saw the college students that got the book bag, but they fell in every class, but they say they go to college. You know what I mean? Because it sounds good to say I'm going to college, but you ain't doing the work. You failing. Nobody know that, but your family feel good because you say you enrolled in college, and they ain't asking like, are you passing? Exactly. So we have a group of entrepreneurs that's like that. Like I'm an entrepreneur, and it sounds good and collectively like. I'm an entrepreneur and I own a business, but that is just getting them the clout, right? The the attention, the conversations, the things like that. When you start seeing an entrepreneur truly like going to talk to a Johnny, talking to accountants, getting more systems in place, right? That's a totally different entrepreneur. That's a totally different mindset. And I think at that point, it's not about the image anymore of, in the sense of what I look like, quote unquote, like the big cars and the houses. I do think it's about um being financially literate, looking at knowing my P's and my P and L's, right? Like, what's my profit and loss statement, right? It is a different type of thinking, and you're stepping away from you. Okay, like you actually confident. Like, I got my car, and I'm confident in my car. Like, I don't need a car, but because I know that the money I'm saving every month and not having a car note is okay. Now, there was a time that Sheila didn't think that. Like, I wanted the newer car because I wanted the image of success. But when you sit in success, like, you don't have to really prove
That's facts.
that.
That's facts.
And but I think that's I think that's a maturity too. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think when you start to get serious about things, you start to make that shift, where it's not about outside image, it's more about how you feel.
I'm in that position now to where go ahead, D.
Well, I just want to put it, the self-image too, I think plays a lot with your self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you feel like, because a lot of people may feel like they may not be worth, or they're worthless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not true, right? Because they place their worth in outside things, so that way they feel like they have to go get this Louis bag, right? Or this Gucci shirt, or the Gucci shoes, so that way they can be liked.
Mm-hmm.
Or, when in all actuality, it's you, not the things that making you be,
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize it's not the things, then you can work on inside and know that you have a lot of work.
And I think that's the difference, right? When you buy stuff that you like versus buying stuff because you will be liked, I think that's a different, like
outside.
Like if you buy a Louis because you like a Louis, then that's very different than buying a Louis because people are gonna like the Louis on you, right? You know what I mean?
And to be totally honest, like, let's be real. When people, let's say, when we really start getting into the thinking about what's advantageous for ourselves, right? That's why you catch so many people who get made fun of for being woke, but they don't support LVMH, none of the brands that they offer, from Hennessy to Louis Vuitton to anything else, because I know what they represent, right? I know that they're not doing it, have any initiatives tying back into my neighborhood or doing anything beneficial for my people. So then it goes into like, are you really, everything is other people. Most of our problems usually are all interpersonal problems, because if you lived on an island where nobody else ever existed, you wouldn't know what jealousy was. You wouldn't know what loneliness was, because you wouldn't know other people to not know it.
That's true.
Right.
But all these outside interferences that I think are the biggest thing that keep us from greatness. When you keep caring about what even what Miss Sheila just said, you doing this because your family, because it sounds good, and now that just means you living in somebody else's purpose. You're not even living in what's right for you. You can't even really look yourself in the mirror. Maybe you better off working at GM. Maybe you better off, and that fits your personality better. But you want to keep making somebody else proud that you're not even walking in your truth. And that's the biggest thing that I think this image problem that our culture faces is you end up walking in somebody else's truth, and then you still justify it by saying it's the truth, but it's not your truth. Because you're basing it off what somebody else thinks rather than being aware of what you think and what you care about and what matters to you.
That's why you see these expensive cars in front of the projects. Right.
And that's a learned behavior too, and that's another thing. I think when you become an entrepreneur, or entrepreneur, or business owner, or really learning about finances, you really start to, that's a learned trade. And that's one thing our culture got it good. I mean, Black people started working at the plant. All of them got Cadillacs, was living in projects, but they was buying Cadillacs. You know what I mean? Because it was. And when you have a culture that comes from that whole worthy thing that Derek was saying, when you have a culture that is fighting for their worth, this is how I'm going to prove to you that I'm worthy, right? That I can drive this and I can do the same, and we started there. Like we start outside of us, like, oh, I can wear the same bag you can wear, and because I'm gonna prove to you I'm just as. And I think that we need to break that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yes,
start
ma'am.
start at a different place. We don't have to start with the most expensive thing to prove our worth and value.
Because I
So
want
we
to
got,
Like,
I want to bring it home with a very real world example because you said it. And so, perfect example. Get two people that work at a plant because I come from manufacturing. Two people that work at a plant, been working there 20 years, same period of time. The one that's got the Cadillac, he's pulling out loans from his 401k and he's barely got any money, but he's got a Cadillac. And then you got the one who's driving the old pickup truck and he knows I'm just going to work. I don't need to show off at work. So he's driving a pickup truck. He's got $500,000 in his retirement account. Both of these people are real people that I know. And it's like, what do you want to be?
He got $500,000, but he got a house up north on the lake somewhere. She don't even know a whole private.
Like he got, and that's exactly what it is. He has property. He has everything's paid off. Etc. And it's just these conversations that we have to have to remind people that it's exactly what Johnny said. It don't matter, man. What everybody else think don't matter.
We got it.
I mean, it matters.
I think it matters. I think it matters. I think it doesn't
take it into consideration.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, and that's why it don't matter. It's not a sustainable lifestyle, right? Like you're going to be chasing that forever,
And the sense, this is what I mean in the sense that it doesn't matter. When I die, when you die, when any of us die, whatever you believe in, whether it's a judgment system or whatever, I don't believe that you're going to be judged based off of what I've done. I think that only I'm going to be judged based off what I've done. And when it boils down to, let's say, you being able to look yourself in the mirror and be happy with the person that you are, that person that may make you happiest, that is you, may be what everybody else that's in your world hates. It may be what they loathe and dislike. We don't know. I say that because, like, I've been, my sister, she's come out, you know what I'm saying? I've been, growing with her and her journey and just really trying to be empathetic, towards how she's feeling. And, for her, I'm like, if you reach a place where you really do feel good about who you are and what you're doing and how you're living, then, pardon my French, F them. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is, if you happy with the person that you are, like, it doesn't matter what I think. It don't matter what my mama think, and my mama is completely against, oh no. And I'm just like, look, I love her too. But at the end of the day, she can't make decisions for you. She can't be the person that looks in the mirror when you wake up every morning and sees your face. That's something that you're going to have to be comfortable in your own skin and your own shoes. And that doesn't matter. If anybody dislikes it.
So we got a couple more questions here.
One thing, though. My son made homecoming king tonight.
Salute to you.
Congratulations, young brother.
What Saginaw High?
Bridgeport.
No. That's what's up.
Give him a shout out on the Small Business Podcast. I'm proud of
you. Look at you, profile.
Congratulations.
So I just wanted to give him a shout out. Tell him come sit down. It's my middle son.
It's the middle.
Okay. Wait. All right. So you got just a couple more questions before we jump off here, man. So, like I said, a couple of them is kind of crazy a little bit, man. But I think it's important, man, to put these out here. So, here's the question: does your social media look bipolar? And what I mean by that is this, right? You have some people that push out there. Maybe they got a lash company that they're doing. They got this that they're doing, but then next thing you know, they're going live and they twerking and all this type of stuff, right? And you sit up and down their timeline. Does your social media look bipolar?
You gotta have different ones. You gotta. I got more than one Instagram account. So the Johnny Leverage account. I'm only gonna speak about, financial literacy, and you'll see stuff with family on it. But the account that I had when I was an audio engineer, which I will not say the name of it, you know what I'm saying? That is where, I've had that account for years. I had that account when I had locks down to my elbows. I had that throughout my entire lock journey. When I was Because they got heavy was the first thing. They got extremely too
They
heavy.
do
I
too
had
heavy.
Now I had like almost wicks. It was, yeah. Washing my
Oh,
hair
okay.
was a drag. I got headaches.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
but I speak on more passionate subjects in the sense of maybe our
Controversial.
culture, or our or the economic status, or what I may believe, or who, or some people that I may quote. For some people that just know just Jonathan, I don't want the, I
Yeah,
have
two
a
different worlds,
side
man.
where I can say in the company that we're in now, and for the audience that are here, I read books on Huey P. Newton. I read books on Marcus Garvey. These are people. We talk about Black queens. Angela Davis. Intelligence, and so these are things that, like, for some people that I'm in other realms, that may not be the most
See.
inviting conversation for a client to your business. So
Yeah.
if you're going to do these things, then at least have it separate. So that way, if somebody's like, "Oh, but I saw you do this." Yeah, but that wasn't on my business page. That wasn't what I sent to you. You went and decided to go look up what I do in my personal life, which I won't apologize for you or anybody else what I do in my personal life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I see this all the time.
It's
People
a
reach
lack
out to
of
me, man, and I see crazy. Because the first thing I do, I go on their social media
first
to
thing.
see
Mhm.
what they talk about, and you see this, like, wow, okay, you look good. Wow, it went totally left field. I'm like, okay, I can't work with him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I see it a
I
lot.
do think avatars are going to start coming out though, because I do think that people with this whole social media and the fact that you can go look up a Johnny, and you know what I mean, on his personal page to see what Johnny do in his life. I do think you're gonna start finding people using more avatars or more, things to represent their personal life so that they can have that outlet,
Yeah.
of
Being
being able
themselves.
to share and be themselves. But it's kind of like how we hide businesses. We're gonna be able to hide ourselves in some type of way, like through some system. I probably should make the app up for that.
There you
But
Yeah,
go.
you
That's
know,
the LLC. That's the
yeah,
point. That's the
yeah,
whole reason you
yeah,
got the branding is
yeah.
to
So
technically.
do that.
Limit.
But I think that people are going to start. I mean, we see it. I mean, I think people do it now with like what they call them dummy pages or whatever. But I feel like it is important if social media, if you are a vocal person and you are expressive and you have passion and you have a voice, I do feel like those type of personalities have an opinion, right? Um, and you should be able to share your opinion and not be offensive because you are, passionate about
Yeah.
race or politics or whatever. You should be able to share that,
Hold
and
on.
it's not
Excuse
influencing your job.
Danielle, you can probably relate to this the most, right? I am an avid anime fan. When I say anime fan, I mean like my kids are named after anime characters.
Look,
Mhm.
I kind
Um,
of guessed that, Jay, but I ain't want to say that when you spoke. Go
yeah,
ahead.
my son's name are Jiraiya and Levi.
Nice.
So
Okay.
there's a lot that I just can't share on my business page, and it's not even controversial. It may just be a cool scene that I know that I see. I know somebody that like I know somebody worked on the Dragon Ball Z movie. My boy
Nice.
Ricky was an engineer on that movie.
Mhm.
So I can't necessarily just share all the clips from the Dragon Ball Z movie on the professional thing. I'm talking to
Mm,
people about life insurance and
nah,
retirement. But I do
yeah, nah.
That
but I do need an outlet for it,
yeah, man.
and
Yeah.
as a fellow, and for me, because I wanted to start with, there takes a lot of emotional maturity to manage your social media because I I'm hit or miss with social media when I'm a fan, when I'm not. But I love the overshares. I love coming for the show, but
Yeah,
you can just see the lack of because I've had that time a million times where it's like, I want to post this, but then I become aware, okay. And it's not necessarily I don't want to offend somebody or whatever, because I have post things where it's like, no, I believe in this, I'm gonna post this, but I've always tried to stray away from too much where it's gonna potentially poke at people that I know are in my friends list. And it takes a level of, because it's not that important to post it. It's not that important to get that point across. Have some friends. I live on Instagram DMs with my friends because that's what we do. We send those pictures that we don't want to post.
Yeah.
And, I operate in my circles. And so it's very important to have a core network, because to me, the oversharing, like, just stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So
Because it's with anything. Because, even any category, the people that literally just flood it and just stupid post after stupid post after just post. There's so much content that one person can't even process the information. Like, be strategic, be intentional with your social media. I think that's the takeaway. Like, and have a safe space. Unless that's your business, like Joe Rogan.
That's your business. And let me say this too. So I was meeting with this one marketer, and she wanted me, because I do have some like with therapy, I got kind of these controversial type of things that would definitely probably bring me heat as a therapist. And one of the things she was like, yeah, we want to put you out there and start talking about that. And for me, I think if I did that, I think my Facebook probably would look bipolar, because one day I'd be like, healthcare is this, and then the next day I'd be like, but I do think that if that's your tactic, if that's what you use for your business, then definitely. But my social media don't look bipolar.
But they were saying, like, how he was saying that he would want to post his like Dragon Ball Z stuff and things like that. What I was told is you keep your wall, like your profile, looking like the magazine, right? You want it to look what everybody knows exactly what you do. But in your stories is where you can post your personal life.
Yeah, because they're temporary.
I still keep a China in the banks. They call them what you call Chinese walls. You know what I'm saying? Literally, that's a banking term. So yeah, I'm gonna still keep it up, because unfortunately, and this is the part where I do somewhat care. I do, I ain't gonna lie. This is the part where I do care just about my business and other people's situation. It's like, this is where it's a time and a place for everything. And I think the discretion of knowing, like, if you're going to do something, make sure you have an outlet where it's appropriate, to where if somebody did have some type of adverse decision against you because of it, well, then you had no business looking for what I do in my personal life anyway.
Ready.
Yeah,
they don't have no business.
Nah, I mean, to a degree. Here's the thing: it's the reason why I have such an issue with people who are like that get so caught up with celebrities, or what celebrities do. You're quick to talk about how these are regular people, but you're still worried about what these individuals do. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what LeBron James does off the court. I don't care what whoever the singer is do off the track, or whatever the case is. I mean, granted, I don't condone anybody doing
even
anything illegal. I don't condone what R. Kelly did, but at the same time, I got homegirls that have R. Kelly's picking them up in high school. I seen some R. Kelly's picking girls up in high school.
I seen it too.
We seen it.
We seen it. Yes, we did. I agree with you, but how much of that is? So what I hear you saying, Johnny, is basically you're going to be you in unapologetic way on your personal page. And if you're not going to do business with me because of who you see Johnny being in my personal life, then we don't need to do business anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you also say you got two pages, right?
I'll say it like this. If you decided to go look that deep to say, hey, I want to see what kind of person this guy is, right? And you want to snoop, right? Because it's time people get private investigators, they figure out ways to do that due diligence. And you go look that deep and you realize that, hey, because there are people that do things that we do business with and we just don't know. And we don't care to know, right? Because there's people you probably work with that you like, man, this person could probably be a sicko. It could have some issues. And I don't mean that to just judge anybody, but they could have some issues.
Yeah.
And if you found out about these issues, you may not do business with them in the same capacity.
That's true. That's true.
But
But
you're not
keep in
looking.
mind,
But I
so we're
do
talking
think that
about.
people are going to look. I guess I'm saying I feel like your attitude is healthy, but I do think that in today's society, people are going to look you up. You know what I mean? Just to
Yeah.
see, and they'll probably even try to send you a friend request. Like, so, you know,
Well,
to
for what I do, if you had an issue with what I do, that's why I'm able to take that stance. Now, if I was R. Kelly, I couldn't take that stance.
Because you have
But,
integrity.
but even with the jobs, right? You get a job. The first thing they do, they go on your social media.
yeah, they go
You know
on
what I'm
social
saying?
media
So
and they look.
when I'm working with a person, that's the first thing I do. I go to their page and see what's going on.
So do the
Now,
cops.
I'm not gonna go through all. If they got
Cops do
16
too.
pages, I'm not going to all these pages, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to page one and see what they're talking about. Okay, let's work together,
Mhm.
right? So,
Hey,
so we got
And
another one here, man. This is a little crazy. I know you guys probably think this is nuts, man, but I gotta say it. There's a reason why. And one more thing. So the reason why we posted about this bipolar, right, is because I see this all the time, man. When it comes to that, it's crazy. So now this one, I got this the other day, but I just thought this was funny. I'm just gonna go ahead and ask the question. What does your email address say about your business, man? I got one the other day that was so crazy. I just laughed for about 45 minutes, man. I said, no, she didn't send this to me. Be conscious.
I didn't see some. I didn't
Be
see
conscious.
some.
And she's gonna have a business, though.
It's
She's supposed to have a
$6
business.
a month to get a
Come on, man.
domain, baby. It's
I thought it was
$6.
nuts.
But you know what though?
But I think
It's cheaper than that.
when people first start off, I think that they really think for whatever that is, and whatever they had that name or that reason, I just think that they think it's cute or hot or and they who
But they
advises
gotta
them.
get
Go
away
for
from
that
that,
PPP
though.
loan.
They
Honestly,
do.
at this point, they
Absolutely.
gotta get away from that because even if you don't want to pay the $6 for a professional,
domain.
.com email address, you can still have a Gmail that's professional. I wouldn't have Pretty Girl 1 2 3 4 5.
I
done seen worse than that.
Hey,
I've seen it too.
I've
I've
seen
seen
some crazy stuff, but it's like, so it all goes into thinking about your branding, and that kind of ties into what you guys were talking about before about what you post online and checking people. So I recently was looking for photographers with me planning for a wedding and everything, and half of my photographers looked me up.
Dope.
I mean, I had friend requests from my actual photographers just because. So I think we're now in that world where it's just almost a natural thing. You meet someone and you kind of put their name into Facebook and you see what comes up, like see what it is that they put out there. And I think that we can't be naive to that. We can't be naive. I was just on another session just before this, and we were talking about that. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So the second that a person, we can't be naive and act like people don't make inferences about the information that you're putting out there. People are going to make an inference about the way that you carry yourself, about the way that you conduct yourself, and they're also going to make an inference about the things that you put out there digitally. So the first time that they look at your or open up your email, that email address itself, that's your first impression. If that says that I think something like this is cute, that may make me feel like maybe you're not somebody that I want to do business with. So why put that out there? Why even do that? And the same thing about your profile. It may be something that if you're that person that you want to put who you are and how you are really out there, put your page on private and only have 5 friends that you you don't want, I mean, my profile, I've got, the max number of friends on there. I don't put nothing on my profile. I probably talk about more stuff on here than I do on there. Why? Because I'm cognizant of, my surroundings and how I present myself. And you can say that doesn't matter or it shouldn't matter. But I also wish that global warming wasn't a thing, but wishing ain't gonna change it. So you gotta be proactive. I mean, my grandmother, she was an assistant, she's retired now, but she was an assistant state prosecutor in Ohio, and they fired people because they've gone on to that became a part of their business practices. They would go to their new employees, and it was really bad for the young people. And they would go to these social profiles and they're drinking, smoking, which is your free time, but at that time weed wasn't legal. So you know, that's not a good representation. And you never, and a lot of times people forget that what other inferences or why these inferences are being made. So if you're putting out certain things out there that shows that you may potentially, like, you've got this problem, you've got, you know, financial debts, okay, that may mean that you're prone to take a bribe. If someone, you know, so there are just all kind of things that the things that you put out there that it tells, you know, people. If you're putting yourself out there in a very, I'm going to call it extra, fill in the blank with whatever it is you want to, but in an extra way. And I'm considering either doing business with you or bringing you onto my business. Is that something that I want as a representation of me? Because if that's how you act when you think no one is looking, then you could do the same if I send you to an event on my behalf, or
That's
if I
important.
send you to a meeting, you know, it. So people make inferences, and I think it's naive just to say that they're not. And I think that the email is just one example of that people don't consider, but it actually makes a big impact because that is one of the first things that you
People
see.
see.
Right. It costs nothing, for free. For the free 99, you can get an email address. So there is no reason whatsoever to not have that. And as a tidbit, so if you get a domain name with Gmail, you can actually do what they call create an alias email address. So if you want something that visually looks professional, so I could, for example, have, which I do have for my business, I have like education@cherishinvestments.com because I have that domain name, but it just sends it to my regular Lachey email box. But it helps me to just kind of put something out there, exactly, to separate things. And you can send it to whatever box you want to. If you want to send it to a free box, you can. So then instead of spending $6 a month, you've paid $12 for the year. There are too many ways for you to get around that, for you to just, you know, oh, well, I signed up for this a long time ago when I was, you know, still in high school.
Hey, GoDaddy, Klarna on GoDaddy. Most people don't even know that. You can Klarna pretty much anything. You Klarna gas, you can Klarna a domain name and an email along with the domain name. Right. You can break that down into 4 payments. So instead of them shoes that you was planning on going to Klarna, them new, you know, Nikes or whatever, get your domain name. You know,
people all the time.
Split that 99-cent payment up in the.
Yeah.
I do think that domain names, because I do think email addresses, even with me, if you're doing a survey or something like that back in the day and I could read your email, I'm just like, who told you that this email was appropriate? I mean, I saw some email addresses that I'm like, what were you thinking?
Yeah,
you know, about this, and I could see probably why you thought that, but do you know you're applying for a job or something like that? Or even giving people permission to say, hey, you know, you can have more than one email address. You know, it's not like one email address per person, right? You can have as many email addresses through Gmail and things like that. And I don't know if people think like I got one email address and that's all you can get, like they only giving out one email address, but you can always develop a new email address.
I'm the king of email addresses. I got so many I can't keep track of it.
Right. I was gonna say I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I got more emails than I can keep up.
Every time I think of something, I like that.
Right. All right. Last question.
Does anybody else judge the @SBC Global people?
I see those emails all the time too.
I'm sorry. I judge anything non-Gmail, man. Somebody hit me with a Yahoo, like.
Right.
It lets me know the age. It lets me know.
I was just gonna say that because both of my parents are guilty of that. Like the only people I know, even my grandparents, it's like it's gifted generation, right? Like my grandparents get it, my parents completely lost.
Yahoo is still on a lot of people.
Yahoo, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Last question, guys. Last question here. So, all right. So, how often should you be networking?
All the time.
And how do you do that? I guess probably the bigger question, like, how do you do that?
Talk.
I'm up in their faces. I'm talking. I'm like, hey, so what you do, man? Hey, my name is. Hey, what's your name? You know, I go to these. I don't know if y'all know, but I'd go to conference after conference after conference. I'm trying to figure out who is that person. Like I said, I'm like the ninth grader, so I'm going in there. I see all the seniors, and I'm trying to get to know all the seniors. I'm trying to make sure they know my face. So I go up there and try to add value. Like I try to, I tell them, hey, I like to interview you. You could, say a few things. So that's my approach. Because naturally, I just love the network. I've been doing this for years upon years, and it's just now, like, as I'm older, a lot of my friends be like, "Man, how you could just go talk to somebody just like that?" Like, man, I could never do that. Like, I'm like, what, bro? This
I have no problem.
easy, bro. Like, that's the easiest thing for me. It's like the easiest thing, but I guess it's hard for people to just talk to somebody they don't know.
But you know what though? Because there are people like that. There are people who are shy. Shy is a thing. There are people who just aren't very outgoing, and it is intimidating. Yeah. The idea of walking up to a complete stranger and introducing yourself. Yeah. So to those people, I say, you also weren't born knowing how to walk, talk, drive a car, none of these things. All of these things you had to learn, and it was through practice that you developed confidence and you became better at it. So just because you do kind of look at social situations with fear does not mean that you cannot just throw yourself out there a few times and build that confidence, and that fear will start to dissipate. And I would say to anyone who's starting off brand new and they've never networked before, because I know most of us have some dealings in real estate. So in real estate, networking is everything. If you're a wallflower, it's going to be hard to be successful in real estate. So that actually is one of my tips. So if you're not sure what events they have in your specific niche, go to a real estate networking event. There are so many different people there in diverse background, because real estate is is the best way, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree, to build wealth. So it doesn't matter, if you have a 9-to-5 or if you own a business. Real estate kind of binds us all together. So you would be surprised who you can meet at a real estate networking event, and they have them in all cities and tons of free ones. Yeah. So I would say that as a tip for you, like look up a local RIA, go on Facebook. Facebook is a really good place for networking because you can search events, Facebook and Eventbrite for in-person events. You can just search real estate in your area, see what comes up. If you're still not really sure if you want to do like live in person, you're a little hesitant on that, Facebook groups is a type of platform that offers some type of a group setting.
Or create your own.
Exactly. Or create your own. If you don't see anything in your niche, create your own, or even an event. If you don't see a networking event specific to your niche, there's no reason why you can't be the one who starts one.
And listen, man, most of us, we go out to dinner, go out to eat, or whatever the case is, man. There's people everywhere you go, right? So you don't have to go to the REI meetups you don't want to, man. Maybe go to a different restaurant than you normally go to. And this time I'm going to talk to one person. You never know, man. A lot of us one person away from being to have your business take off. You meet that one person, and he's the key that you need to take you to that next level, right? And if you miss that opportunity, man, look, you missed that opportunity, right? You got to talk to people. When you're in business, you got to talk to people.
I think that one of the things that when I was networking, I'm sorry, Johnny. So I'm 43, and I'll be 44 in January. And one of the things, I started networking like at 25, and I'm like presidents of boards, and like I'm so involved in the community, and I'm doing all of this stuff. And I want to say I knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew me because I was out there doing stuff in the community and things like that. I guess at that time, and this is what I tell people who network now, I didn't know how to turn those relationships and make, something with those, those type of connections. It was just like, I would go, I'm at these after 5 events. I'm with the state representative. I'm out at all her meetings. I'm meeting all these people from everywhere. You know what I mean? And I didn't really know what to do with that. Yeah. So we can say networking all the time, but I would say if I was younger, the younger Sheila, know what you're going to do with those relationships. If it's cultivate them, if it's just sending them a happy birthday, nice to meet you, you know what I mean? because I think that sometimes people like either when they're looking for a job, they get heavy in networking, like it's like this like intention behind it. But when you're networking all the time, sometimes it's just really to maintain relationships, right? You know somebody, and then that connection that's going to be with that relationship, so you can follow up 3 years from now, say, hey, you know, because you're keeping in contact with this individual over time. And so I think that, you know, I kind of got burnt out with networking because I was doing so much of it, but I didn't have it an end goal, I guess I would say, at the end of that. It was just like I was out here.
You were just meeting
people. I was just meeting people, and you know, and they knew me because a lot of times I would be the president of the organization, or I was the vice president, you know what I mean? And so I would meet all these people and was like, and then when I went to go online, like I'm doing now, it's like, yeah, I got a whole bunch of cards, and you know, but I haven't done nothing with that stuff. You know what I mean?
When you're in that situation, it's important to follow up ASAP.
Yeah.
Hey man, I met you last night. I want to let you know, man, it was a pleasure meeting you. You know, look forward to working with you. And what do you got going on? How can I bring value to you? Right? People remember people like that. When you somebody bring value to you, they remember. They remember you for sure. And follow up, man. You gotta do that, man. That's important. So I hear what you're saying.
Whether you're doing something or not, and I guess that's what I'm saying. Like some way to keep those relationships going. Whether you have a course, whether you're doing something, like I say, even if you get like a CRM or something, you just send them a happy birthday. I don't know, like Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, you know, because I got thousands of cards, you know, that I have not, you know, touched. I have not looked up because I've met a lot of people along the way. But so now when I network, I'm more intentional, you know what I mean, about like, hey, you know, how you doing? Following up with you, you know, if they send me a message on Messenger, how you doing? You know, and maybe
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet if you go over those calls, there's some money in those cards.
I'm sure.
I'm willing to bet.
Sure.
If you go make them calls, hey, I bet you find some money in them cards.
I love the way she looked at like the ideological cards. Like, I bet it is, but
oh no, I'm looking at. I'm like, yeah, I was. You know what honestly came up in my spirit? What honestly came up in my spirit was when I looked over at my dog. I thought about the pandemic, right? And I thought about how the pandemic has shifted so much. Yeah. And it has shifted people in their careers. So, like my networking events, I used to go to a lot of places that had a job. I wonder if this is the same email address, you know. And so that's kind of what I thought about. Like, man, I got thousands of emails, but I wonder if those people are still in those positions. We just had this pandemic that's totally shifted the way
CRM is very helpful for that because you can do it kind of quickly, you know. A CRM that allows you to, they have CRMs now where you can scan the card with your phone and it'll take all that information, save it like a contact, and you can do a quick copy and paste message of just, hey, met you a while ago, came across my mind, wanted to check in on you, see how things are going on your end.
You never know where that may go to. Yeah,
exactly.
I got a whole stack full of business cards.
I think we all do it because I know she made the face that I felt. I was like, "You sure right," but I'm afraid of that pile. That pile is
right. That pile got some dust on it. I need to.
You know, that is something that actually like Sheila said, it probably is business in it. And that's something to think about as we do have all these different things that we have going on and new things that have changed in our lives. You know, you never know what opportunities are out there within that pile. And even if it's something simple like setting aside an hour a week and you just reach out to some of those people, I think that's worth the time. So I think that's something that I'm going to add to my list of
absolutely. That makes a lot of sense too. I need to do that myself. But listen, I'm gonna make sure, I get you guys out of here on time, man. So listen, man, this has been dope.
I came in a little late just a while ago, but I didn't. Lachey, how you doing? I'm
okay. You haven't met. Okay, go ahead. Y'all do your thing, man. I will introduce you.
So I just came in. I've been here before, but I'm late today.
Okay.
So I have a business development and marketing agency. So I help entrepreneurs to better define their brand, reach their target audience, be more meaningful with their connection, strategic, and nurture those relationships. And I focus on all aspects of marketing from digital to actually in person. And it's so funny that I came in right on that topic because that's a class from I taught a class on this past Wednesday, and I asked my audience kind of like, what is it, a class that you would like? And that's what they brought up. So I'm working on a class about networking that will talk about how to use events to build your email list. So being more mindful and more purposeful with the networking that you're doing. So if you're hosting an online event, having the process that you send those people through. If you do it live, you really kind of need the same thing and going through some of the logistical things that people forget when it comes to hosting an event. So that's just a little bit about me.
You know, hold on. While we on that, there was something I wanted to mention because it was something that both Sheila and Lachey said, and it was basically what I was thinking is a combination of the two. And it was when we're talking about networking, have a goal beforehand because I know like when I go network, it'll be a difference. If I'm going to go find potential clients,
Right.
well then, I'm going to target, I work with stock traders, with investors. So I want to target these crypto events, because these are places are all filled with people who need my services. Vice versa, if I'm looking for business partners, right? I'm looking for somebody else who can cover an area of expertise that's related to what I do. Then I'm gonna go like I reached out and hopped in a Eventbrite. That's what I was gonna talk about. That's how I met Jay. I literally met Jay through Eventbrite. I was just going and was like, all right, let me find all these real estate events. I need to know more about real estate and how this, let me tap in because what I do with life insurance and the trust and everything else, how can, let me get the other side of it. Let me really tap in. And once you know exactly what you're going for, you have, an ideal avatar, a purpose, a problem, a solution, all these things set up. Networking becomes a lot less scary.
I think it's fun, man. I think it's fun.
It becomes fun when you're prepared and you know what you're
doing.
doing.
I used to be one of those people. So that's why I say that, because I used to be one of those people. I'm actually a very shy person. I actually used to hate public speaking. Right. She's making that face like, where? I know. So that's how I
know. But you broke out of your cocoon at some point.
Exactly.
You're like, this ain't nothing now.
Exactly. Like my last job that I had, we had to get on stage and talk. And I used to sweat bricks. I used to lock myself in my office. I had to have headphones on, like get in the zone, because I was scared crapless. It took me a couple of months to kind of like, okay, because I had a script and everything. And that was just like, oh Lord, I'm gonna forget all these words. And then I just threw away the script, because it's like when you're out there and you're talking, no one knows what the script is. No one knows what you're supposed to say. So it's through practice. So that's why I say I understand the people who are afraid, because that's where I started. And then now look at me, now I can be on a podcast full of like-minded go-getters, like press the people within their own rights in various fields and hold my own, because I practice, because I threw myself out there, even though I was definitely afraid. And after a couple of times of doing it, it got a little bit less and less and less. And now I love it. Now you can't get me to shut up. I got the opposite.
but Johnny has a great event. He's about to have this month as well, man, where you can do some, some reach out to some people. Tell them about what you got going on, Johnny.
Yes.
Mastermind.
Yeah, on October 20th at the House of Cigar Lounge in Farmers Branch, Texas, we are doing the Creating Leverage Wealth Workshop. We will be giving away some very old secrets, but some very transformative wealth strategies that can help business owners and investors in the areas of taxes, succession planning, exit strategies. Also just coming up with different streams of income. So you definitely, if you're in town, please show up. We would love to have you there. It's a free event. Once again, that is at House of Cigars Lounge in Farmers Branch, Texas, October 20th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
First round on me.
Oh, it's BYOB as well. It's BYOB. It's
Okay.
BYOB.
I forgot you guys. Most of you guys live in Texas, huh?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
from Michigan.
Well, Texas,
No.
but different places. So I'm Houston.
I used to
Yeah,
live in Houston.
we-
Yeah, and they're
I'm
in
DFW.
Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to live in
Did
Houston.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, so
I went to
Texas
PV.
in general, when it comes to real estate, I mean, the events are amazing. And I'm glad that Johnny is hosting this event because it really does sound like it's something that doesn't matter what your industry is. Any and everybody can attend that event because it's about
Absolutely.
wealth. And wealth is what we all want to achieve. We all don't want to make money. We need to be focused on getting wealth. So I love that you're putting together something that allows people to do that. And I think that was a perfect segue into that. But one thing I wanted to say when you brought up about being meaningful and going with goals when you go to those networking events, and that's something that I know I've heard Sheila say too, just about how once you set those goals, how you'll be surprised how it becomes attracted to you. You'd be surprised when you put that energy out there. If you go in there and you say, hey, you know what? I need a partner to help me keep my business afloat. Somebody who can handle the marketing because that's just not me. If you put that energy out there when you go to Johnny's event or when you go to a networking event, that will come to you and it makes it so much easier. So it's not just about you setting these goals so that you can go and be a shark and like I'm on a proud and I'm gonna find it. It's a mental and an energy thing as well. That when you're in that mindset, you're going to be more attracted to opportunities, you know, that align with what your goals and your missions are. So I just wanted to say that little
which is why you need a coach or somebody like a Lachey in your life to get you some clarity, or Danielle or Sheila.
And I need to add
Derek,
a
you
disclaimer.
do coaching, Derek? I was saying, do Derek do coaching? I think you do mindset coaching too, right?
Yeah, mindset. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of that. And like she was saying, like that is so important. Like that's really my objective when I go to these conferences. You know, I'm trying to identify who it is that I'm supposed to be talking to. And at each conference, I've met someone that I was supposed to meet.
Yep.
You know, so I go in like that, whether it's 1, 2, 3. I know I'm gonna meet someone that I'm supposed to meet, and we're gonna build that relationship. So that way, you know, if you see me again, oh yeah, I remember you from and we're keep.
And I wanted before we leave,
I follow you too, Lachey. Just to, I sent you a message. Yeah, I sent you a message. So
see, I told you people do that. That's like an automatic thing. You get someone's name, you go online. It's automatic. Okay.
Another cheat code. Yeah. If you have a solid network of business-minded friends, use their network. You know, if you're getting into that, because like I have people that are in networks that I cannot be in, you know, like sororities, fraternities, things like that. But you can get in through your connections with other people, and that's the whole concept of networking. So you can start small and reasonable. Use your friends. Like, hey, what you going? You know, if they're business-minded friends or forward-thinking people, you know, see what they're doing. Right. If you don't know where to start.
All right, tell them how to reach you guys.
Yes, so for me, you guys can see it on the screen. My name is Lachey LaRue. My company is Cherish Investments. You can reach me on social media at Cherish Investments. You can also visit me on my website at cherish-investments.com or connect with me via email, and it's just LaRue, LARUE at cherish-investments.com.
Excellent. Who want to go next?
You can meet me. I'm Sheila Little, and you can meet me on all social media handles at Iron Shaping Solution.
Absolutely. All right. Who want to go next?
I'm Derek. Derek to Derrich, as you can see on the screen, is Derek, DERRICK, the number 2, DERICH, because I went from Derek to Derrich.
No.
Mindset thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, you get the $1 million in your bank account, you got to have $1 million in your mind first, right? So that's how I like to say it.
All right. Who want to go next? That you, Jay?
I'll go. Well, I go by Johnny Leverage. The handle is at Johnny Leverage on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can visit my website at Ennead Infinite. That's ENNEAD Infinite.com. if you want to reach out, please just hit the discovery call link. You know, schedule a call, hop on our calendar, and if you got questions, we're here to answer them. And other than that, you be blessed, everybody.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm Danielle MacArthur at DCDR Solutions on what's that? Facebook, Instagram. I think there's maybe a dash on my TikTok. I gotta double check that one. But yes, reach out, DMs respectfully, as I always like to say.
That tickles me every time. I don't know why.
Respectfully.
Because you know it's real. I know it is. You know it's real.
Okay.
People.
Right.
So we had a gentleman on here who was from Toronto, Canada. Denmark Britain was his name, man. Great young entrepreneur, 22 years old.
I like that name.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, man. So if you guys like him, man, definitely DM me, man. I'll give you all his information. But it was rebrand advertising agency. But he was dope. He was dope,
Yes.
man. There's nothing I could add to what he was doing. I was like, bro, you're doing it already, man. You know what I'm saying? So definitely re-listen to this thing again, man. Get these jewels out of here, man. And hey, man, salute you guys, man. Another one in the books, man. You guys, you know how you guys do, man. Y'all come on here and knock out the park, man. Ain't nothing I need to do. I just sit back and listen. Salute. All right.
Yes, sir.
You guys have a great one. Thanks for coming on. Peace.
Bless up, everybody.
Peace, bro. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. You already
All right.
know.
All right.